Hi everyone, it's Diane. I'm going to do some more work on these music sheet cover journals. I did some work on one of them just to figure out what I was doing so that I could work on the rest with you. So we had all these file folder pieces, well they're file folders, cut down to size. I used the scored portion to create the spine. I never did measure that. It's 3/4 of an inch when you use the scored part of the file folder. And then I Mod Podged pieces of the covers of antique sheet music, and they're just so beautiful. And then I added some printable fussy cuts on each one. And we Mod Podged napkin to the spine. So that's as far as we got, as far as the covers go. We did some ephemera on the same video, I believe. No, separate video. So anyway, this is what I did on the inside. I put a little piece of Tyvek down the center to strengthen this spine because we don't want this tearing and coming apart. And then I put a piece of a vintage sheet, just a pale pink vintage sheet down the center. And then just to decorate, I decided not to add end papers because I like the look of the file folder that's inked, and so I just added some printable ephemera. This is probably from Tsunami Rose. I have this plastic envelope full of digital ephemera. A lot of it came from Tsunami Rose. Some of it is left over from the old design shop and things like that, and some of it's miscellaneous. So I plan on using some of that to fill in some of the pockets along with the ephemera that we made. This is one of the pieces that we made, just a piece of coffee dyed paper with a stamp on it and a hole with a reinforcement and some fuzzy yarn, so that was a very simple tag. And then on the back I took a coffee dyed glassine bag and folded it up. I sewed the edges of the bag with a zigzag stitch and then I glued it on. Added this piece of a doily that I cut and a bulb pin and a vintage school milk ticket. And then I put some printable tickets in here, and I'll put something behind, and something in the bag. So we've got 3 pockets here. So that's what I did on the cover, and then I will probably put some heavy books on this to flatten out the corners before I fill it in with pages. So I'm going to work on the other 2 covers, and we can work on the pages. We just aren't going to be sewing the pages into the book today. So I will lay this one flat, probably all of them flat, and put heavy books on them to kind of straighten them out a little bit, because they get warped when you use the Mod Podge on them. Now this one, this one I'll cover with a pocket, so we will cover that. We won't have to worry about that. So I have this piece of Tyvek. Somebody sent this to me in a Happy Mail quite a long time ago, and it is actually, it was probably kind of a lab coat. It says DuPont Tyvek on the pocket here. I cut the lab coat apart into pieces so that I would be able to use it, and I haven't used it yet. It feels a little bit different from the envelopes. It just has, you can see it kind of looks textured, and it feels softer. But it's still Tyvek, and it will be sturdy enough for these. So I'm just going to cut a piece, not too wide, it just has to span the spine. We have to span the spine. And it doesn't matter if the lines are completely straight because this will all be covered. Using fabric, you probably don't need to use the Tyvek, but I have the Tyvek and it makes me feel better to use it, so we'll use it. But if you are making one of these and you just have fabric, just go ahead and put the fabric on it. That should reinforce the spine well enough. So I'm using 3-in-1 glue from Beacon, or Fabri-Tac. This is Fabri-Tac. But I use them interchangeably. They're pretty much the same. They're both by Beacon. I just put it in this icing bottle so it's easier to use, thanks to someone's recommendation. Okay, got that glued on. While that dries, we'll do this one. I'll have to do something different on the back here because that, from the way I decorated this one, that would not be covered. We'll put something there. You can get Tyvek in envelope form, like large envelopes, at business supply stores. You can get it on Amazon. It's Tyvek, and an envelope will go a long way if all you're doing is making spine widths of it. So you might look at it and say that's not very cheap, but you will get a lot of use out of it. It will go a long way. And I was fortunate. I was given some, quite a lot of envelopes by a friend. I keep mentioning that she gave up doing paper crafts because she had too many other irons in the fire. She likes to weave and knit and quilt. She got into paper crafts because she liked the smash books I was making, and she bought a lot of supplies. And then when she decided she didn't have time for everything, she gave her sister some stuff, and she gave me some stuff, and then she ended up giving my daughter some stuff, which ended up coming to me, a lot of it, eventually. So anyway, she gave me a bunch of Tyvek envelopes, and then when I was starting to run low, Walmart put theirs on clearance. They carried them for a brief time, and then they decided not to carry them anymore, and they put them on clearance. So I bought several packages then. And now I can stop talking about Tyvek and get this piece off my table. Okay, back to this one. I didn't ink around this either. I'll have to do that. Now I have to add some fabric. I brought in some vintage sheets. Let's do it right side up. This one has some pink on it. So I got this one. And this isn't even going to show that much. I just want something pretty back here. And this might not be a good piece because the pattern is so scattered that with such a small piece you're not going to get very much pattern on it. So I think we'll just use that plain pink sheet like I did for the other one. Save these flowers for something where it will show. Gotta get a straight edge here. This tears so easily. I wanted to go just beyond the Tyvek. I kind of wanted to let the fabric hang off the end so it would show, but because the spine is so little, it just doesn't look good that way. Too much fabric bunched together there. So I cut it to be the exact height of the book. I sewed the other piece on, but I think I'm just going to use my Fabri-Tac to glue it on. I think that'll work. Just put a little bit of glue on, not gobs of it, I hope. Kind of spread out any gobs there might be, because the gobs of it tend to show through, especially a fabric this thin. So I'll just spread out some of it. And let that dry. For this one I brought in this blue flowered sheet. Let's see if this works better than the pink flowers. This is a scattered design, but it's a little closer together and the flowers are smaller. I think that works well. We're going to go with it. Rather than tear that whole long strip, I'm going to get it to the right height first. This one has lots of threads. Okay, so we'll glue this on. Okay, now the fun part, decorating. I need to find a piece of ephemera to make a pocket here. I actually think I got a couple out. I wonder what I did with them. Oh, I wanted to show you another piece of ephemera that I made besides the ones I did on video. I had some coffee dyed time cards. So I cut them in half. I used pinking shears and I cut all around, and I have this vintage piece of wrapping wallpaper that's pretty fragile. You could not use that as a page, but I glued that on there. I love it. I love this wallpaper, and I'm finally using it. It makes me so happy. And I put an eyelet in there and a bulb pin. I don't know what I'm going to hang on that yet, but anyway, I was looking for my ephemera, my printable ephemera. So I've been doing prep work for these journals, for the pages and stuff. I gessoed some pages. What did I do with that ephemera? I guess I'll have, oh, here it is. I gessoed some pages, book pages that I can use, and I cut some really great vintage wallpaper that's not this blue, but it's a gorgeous vintage with beautiful yellow roses on it. I'm so excited about it. This is kind of thin, so I'm going to back it. Just have a piece of white cardstock here. I didn't press the book covers flat before because I thought I might be Mod Podging something to the inside, but I decided not to. And I'm just going to ink around the edges of that. I've got quite a pile of stuff over here. I don't know why every time I think I'm going to do better at keeping my table neat for each project. Never happens. And I'll just glue this on. Do I want to make it a tuck spot or a pocket? Tuck spot. Kind of too small to be a pocket. At least for that size tag. So that means I'm only going to glue it on two sides, and this side will be open. So this can get tucked in there. While we're on the front cover, let's see if we can find a label to put on the front. Looking for something that doesn't have a whole lot of color. This is a neutral colored book, but it does have some color in it, so I don't mind if the label has color, but if I can find more plain ones like those, I'll use those. These are pretty. They're kind of neutral with just a little bit of color. So maybe one book will have that. I don't know if I like the shape of it on it, though. I do like that. Just thought of something I might want to do. Let's do that. Put some doily down first. Coffee dyed doily. So the coffee dyed doily kind of blends in with the file folder, but it does add some texture and interest to the cover there. I like that. This bag is torn, but it will. I'm going to glue that down so that you can't put anything into the back. I just coffee dyed these this morning. So I was saying I was had been doing some prep work. I gessoed pages and I coffee dyed some stuff today, some scrapbook paper and a whole stack of index cards and some of these. And I cut papers. So I've been working on prepping. Yeah, this is the smaller book. I didn't sew these, so I am going to go to my machine and sew at least one of them so we can finish this cover. I'm sorry, I will be sitting right next to the camera on the other side where you can't see me. And I'm going to sew a zigzag stitch. One side and then the other. There we go. I love the way glassine bags look when they're dyed. So I'm going to take a piece of this coffee dyed. I don't know if it's coffee dyed. Somebody sent this to me, but it looks like it's been dyed. So just cut a chunk of that off, and I have my little ticket. Gonna punch a little hole in it, just a tiny little hole. Get a bulb pin. This stuff is kind of tough to put the pins through. And I'm going to glue it to this part, the pocket. Don't want to glue it over the pocket. The pin stuck to my finger. wondering, I like to store my glue bottles upside down, but can I store this upside down with the frosting tip with a pin in it? Feels like it would leak. I mean, I feel like it would leak. And I don't need to put all the ephemera in right now, but I feel like it. I guess because that's fun for me. So I'm just going to find, whoops, this is the wrong book. Some tickets, some printable tickets. I like tickets, so I have a bunch of them in here. Put this one in. Folded. Yeah. And I'll put this one in. And a smaller one. Now, I think a postage stamp scissor would work for this. They are very hard to find, but I've had these for a long time. You could get them on Amazon, I think, but only in a set of other scissors. And this is just to punch out the bigger hole in them. So there's a ticket, and there's a ticket, and there's a ticket. I'll probably ink the backs of these before we're done, but not today, not on camera. Okay, there is one cover. Don't think I wanted to use that. I don't want it to be too big because we have to see the tag in it. That's even taller. Maybe that one. Okay, so again, we have to back it. And if my camera cuts out, I apologize in advance. And I'm just going to do the same thing I did on the other cover with a coffee dye glassine bag on the back. But I will have to do something with that. Maybe we should do that, figure that out first. That's something different from what I did on the other book. Is this the small one? Yeah. This bag doesn't really fit there. That's the right size, but I don't want to fold it up and cover that bird on the napkin. And I didn't coffee dye these. This one is inked or embossed. Let's do that one. That would be pretty. Just rub a little ink on it. That too. And I'm going to fold the bottom up, so I'll ink that too. So I will have to sew that, but I won't do that on camera. I just wanted to see how this looks before I figure out what to do up there. Maybe I'll cover the whole back page with a music sheet. I don't know. Does that look okay just being half covered? Okay, we're going to go with that, and we'll add something to it. I think that looks better than just having a patch. What can I add to it? Some stamps here. Ooh, that one's pretty. Look at the design on that. I'm looking for blue because this cover has a lot of blue on it. And I think we need one more thing. So we have 3, but it doesn't have to be blue. I think we have enough blue. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm looking through my binder. Oh, I don't want another flower. Okay. I'll get something else. Let's see what's in here. Got one of these little tags that I made recently. Little tabs. This says notes and it's small. I think I like that. Let's see if that works. Yeah, we'll put that on there somewhere. We'll make it work. Love having my shelves over my head. All those binders are sitting up there now instead of on the floor. So my battery light's flashing. I should have inked this. Just rub a little ink on it. I think I like it better over here. But I don't know. I'll put it up there. So this first. We're still going. Make sure I'm not interfering with the fold. And now I'm going to have to sew that and then glue that on. Before I do that though, let's go ahead and ink this thing that I keep forgetting to ink. I did not round the corners on this one because the image is square. There, that looks better. So, I'm going to ink this. And glue this on. Find a label to put on it. I like this one. It's got some blue in it. So then all I have to do is glue the pocket on after I sew it. And then make the little embellishment for the pocket. My fabric scissors. Sorry, I'm so quiet. I have something on my mind. The kitchen manager of the restaurant where my son works committed suicide yesterday. Just found out. Billy just found out this morning. It was last night. And I don't know. It's just, I don't know the man. I've heard Billy talk about him. But he has a family. And it's really been weighing on me. I've been praying for their family. Okay, so I will sew that and then glue that on and put stuff in the pockets. And we can proceed on to the pages in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you're enjoying this process and seeing that it's not too difficult to attempt. And what do you have to lose? Use a file folder. They're cheap, or you can get them secondhand, or get one that you don't use anymore, you know? So you're not going to be losing a lot of money with that. And if you don't want to use antique music paper, at least try it with another kind of book page or wrapping paper or wallpaper or scrapbook paper. Just give it a try. See how easy it is, and then you can attempt it with some of your nicer materials. So we will be back to work some more on these journals. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.